Hey everyone, She here with the first deep depth analysis into the character of the Moxie stealing hypercarry unit Melania. I'll be talking about her kit, her best Psychubes, teammates, and resonance setups, along with optimal rotations and if her portrays are actually worth it. So without further ado, let's get into it. Melania is a 6-star beast unit that deals mental damage. She is incredibly AP greedy, which means she will use a lot of reactions every turn. Her whole kit relies on her cycling her ultimate quickly to deal huge damage while also activating Thief Master. Her ultimate will deal 650% single target mental damage and will give her 1 stack of Thief Master. Her first skill, Silent Takedown, which I will refer to as Kick, does 200% mental damage, and if she has a stack of Thief Master, this will steal 1 Moxie from the target. Her level 2 skill will also have the added effect of removing 1 Moxie from the target, and her level 3 skill will have another added effect of getting another Moxie for the caster. This means you could potentially receive 3 Moxie and also remove 2 from the enemy with 1 card. Her other skill is called Clockwork Rats, and this does 120% mental damage to 2 enemies. 20% of this damage will be converted into health for Melania, and if she is in Thief Mastery, she will gain an extra Moxie and also benefit from 30% more leech rate for a total of 50%. Her upgraded versions of the skill will not give any extra leech rate or Moxie gains, but with the extra damage, this will also mean more damage for the lifesteal. Because her kick steals Moxie, this should always be used after the ultimate unless in very niche scenarios where the enemy has no Moxie to steal or if you are in desperate need of healing. Her Insight 1 and Insight 3 will let her get 2 stacks of Fixed Plan every time she casts her ultimate, while her Insight 2 is just a small DPS increase. Fixed Plan will increase her ultimate power by 12% and can stack up to 6 times for a total of 72%. This gives Melania a heavy ramp up time for her damage, which means she will only be outputting maximum damage on her 4th ultimate. At maximum stacks of Fixed Plan, if she lands a critical hit, she will enjoy an outstanding 1332.5% mental damage, which is the highest single target damage we currently have in the game. Luxurious Leisure is easily Melania's best in slot. Not only does she get an extra 18% ultimate might, she also ramps up to an extra 15% damage dealt. This far exceeds any other Psychube that is currently in the game. If for some reason you don't have Luxurious Leisure, some alternatives are Hisbound and Duty, mainly for the stat stick and the 12% damage bonus, or Brave New World for the extra ultimate damage. Thunderous Applause on paper is quite good, and it may become better with the addition of Tooth Fairy if it can allow Melania to crit on every ult, but further testing is required. As of right now, I would stay away from it though. Here are the suggested resonance placements for Melania. Feel free to pause the video and copy them, and credits to the spreadsheet will be given in the description. Right now, you should go with the attack build if you have Resonance 10, and swap to the crit build if you're using Tooth Fairy with her in 1.2. Right now, Melania's best support is going to be Anan Lee. Anan Lee gives damage buffs, damage reduction buffs, and can give a lot of free upgrades for cards which will help Melania get that level 2 or level 3 kick. She also takes less damage than other supports, which means you'll spend less actions healing. Baby Blue is also a good support for Melania. She can debuff the enemy's attack, mental defense, and she can also make them take more damage. Unfortunately, the mental defense debuff is locked behind a separate level 2 skill, so usually you will rarely use this. Her ultimate is great for Melania and will usually get you a free turn to do whatever you want. Her Insight 1 and 3 will also mean she will take less mental damage and also make the team take less overall damage, which is great because Melania needs high survivability teammates, as less time will want to be spent healing. It's important to note though that Baby Blue is Star, which is weak to Plant, which Melania is strong against. Sonetto is also usable because her buff is really good, but the other parts of her kit don't really complement Melania that well. Pickles isn't currently out, but he is also going to be one of the best supports for Melania due to him not needing to act very often, and also having a really good buff with his ultimate. Also, Shamane will likely replace Baby Blue in 1.3, as well since he is basically a better Baby Blue, and he's also Beast. Some other units to mention are Regulus and Beacorn Bloom. Regulus doesn't pair too well with Melania, as damage isn't typically an issue in a Melania team, and Beacorn can help Melania perma-seal away ults, but her debuff isn't fully synergetic with Melania. I would still say though, that Beacorn is a usable support with her though. Until 1.2, Medicine Pocket, Sotheby, and Balloon Party will be Melania's best sustains. Balloon Party and Sotheby especially pair quite well with Melania. Balloon Party's healing scales off of lost HP percent, and is also quite tanky, which means you will only need to heal when people get low. Sotheby isn't super tanky herself, but she can pre-heal, which allows for cleaner rotations. It also isn't a huge deal if she dies, because her healing will still continue after her death. When 1.2 comes out, Tooth Fairy will 100% be your best sustain, and you should be using her with Melania. Alright, now we are going to talk about her rotations. At the start of the battle, you should refresh to get 3 cards. If you get something like this, our first option can be to play all 3. This will deal the most damage, but in general, Melania's skills don't deal a lot of damage compared to her ult, so I wouldn't recommend this. Our next option is to merge these 2 cards, and then use both cards to attack. This will give us 4 Moxie, and on the next turn we only need 1 Melania skill card to get our ultimate. This leaves room for a debuff and a heal like Sotheby's, which takes time to set in. This is what I would recommend for most people to do. Our last option is to merge these 2 cards and then move the unupgraded one to the front, and then use our level 2 skill. This will give us a chance of getting a free merge next turn, giving us 5 Moxie and an ult on turn 2. After her first ultimate, we now will want to ult every 2 turns. To do this, we will need to use 4 skills with Melania and 1 stack of Thief Master to get 5 Moxie. After you ult, you should always kick as it steals 1 Moxie from the enemy, then preferably you should use one of the rat cards. On the subsequent turn, this is optional, but you should upgrade the kick using the special power from First Melody. This will allow you to lock out the enemy's ult permanently if you're lucky enough. Then you just need 1 more Moxie, which you can get from using another skill. This will leave you with 1 action for your teammates to do anything. There are 2 alterations to this rotation. Instead of using a skill, you can move 1 skill for 1 Moxie. This is a small damage loss and should only be used in emergencies. The other alteration is merging 2 cards. This will give you 2 Moxie with 1 action. This will then leave you with 2 actions for your teammates. You should try and do this whenever you get the chance to. With Portrait 2, her rotations are going to be a little different. After she casts her ultimate, she will receive 2 stacks of Thief Master. After ulting, you are going to want to kick, then use any other ally skill. This will grant you 2 Moxie. Then in the subsequent turn, you will want to kick again, then use any other Melania skill such as Rats. This will give you 5 Moxie while also disabling the enemy's ult for both turns. You will also have 1 turn left over for any other ally skill. After reviewing her kit and rotations, it's time to look at her portrays. Her first portray will increase her ultimate's damage from 650 to 725%. This is a very good portray one as most of her damage comes from her ultimate. Her second portray is the most important one. After seeing how she performs her rotations with portray 2, you will see how much cleaner and smoother it is to play her. This is not a must-have though, as you can 2-turn ult very consistently without it. It just becomes harder to permanently lock out enemy ultimates. Her portrait 3 and 4 are quite weak, giving small damage increases to her skills, and her portrait 5 will upgrade her ultimate's damage again. I would recommend staying at portrait 0 or going for portrait 2. Staying at portrait 1 is fine, but portrait 2 is just so good that you should probably go for it if you are already at portrait 1. Overall, Melania is a unit that will benefit people that don't have a strong second carry, or if they don't have Centurion. Her pull value will drop a lot if you have Centurion, as they both fulfill a similar role. She requires some critical thinking to maximize her potential and can feel frustrating to play without Portrait 2. This frustration, however, will quickly be met with joy after seeing how hard her ults hit when she fully ramps up. If you are on the fence about pulling Melania, she is currently still a top option in the CN version of the game as a damage dealer. And with that, this is the end of my Melania deep death analysis. This is the first time I've edited a video, so feel free to insult me in the comments. If you have any more questions or anything, feel free to use the comments and I'll try to reply to all of them. I'd like to add that this took heavy inspiration from Mr. Pokey's CN unit analysis, which he does in Honkai Star Rail. I will link his channel and also all of my sources I used to make this video in the description. Also, if you find this deep depth analysis helpful, I'd appreciate if you subscribed, as I have more of these planned for the future. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.